Suit yourself.
I invented human cloning.
Did you?
More or less.
Well, that's not exactly how I remember it.
Listen, folks, anything this woman tells you about me, probably untrue. She wrote this story that was
based on real events, though I may have taken some creative liberties.
You shouldn't write about your neighbors.
But tonight's story is about our neighbor. It's a good one.
Well, he deserved to be made out to be a madman. I do not.
Relax, you're so interesting. You should be flattered I wrote a story about you.
But people think I'm some sort of... Anyway, we welcome you all. We are here to present the story for this evening.
But we must share a few words of caution before we begin.
Right. Please notice the emergency exits. There, and there. You'll need to know where those are in the event that Dr. Evil wants to set the place on fire.
Now.
But they need to know. Okay, I admit I may be a bit bitter about the fire he caused in my laboratory.
You'll also want to silence any devices that may interfere with the electromagnetic frequencies in the theater.
What she means is anything that rings or beeps and sends a received signal via radio wave.
Who knows what Dr. Evil has hidden deep within his lair that can be set up by someone's cell phone ringing.
What's a cell phone?
I don't know. Maybe some sort of device that transmits a signal so you can speak with someone over long distances.
Rubbish, that's impossible.
I just made it up. I am already, no?
Right. Also, if anything that may occur during tonight's production causes you to become squeamish, the washing facilities can be reached most efficiently if you go that way. But whatever you do not squeam upon the person sitting next to you.
Unless you'd like them to squeam at you for the remainder of the night. We're also required by law to inform you that no animals were or will be harmed in the creation and production of this play.
Oh, that's good to know. What about humans?
I'm not required by law to make any statements regarding the welfare of humans. Apparently no one cares about the humans.
Interesting.
And now that all the formalities are taken care of, we present tonight's dramatic offering.
You're sure to enjoy it.
Our story begins
Hold on a minute. What's that?
It's the book, so we can tell the story.
Why didn't I get one?
I put one on your stool there.
It's not there now.
Well, I don't know what could have happened to it.
Neither do I. Do you have another copy?
I am a renowned author published in 56 languages. Of course I have another copy.
Thank you.
Our story begins in the lair of Dr. Evil, a man so vile and evil he'll make your skin crawl. A man who would think nothing of stealing candy from an innocent child. A man who revels in destruction and chaos.
A man who will burn your laboratory to the ground.
Enough of that.
Fine.
In short, he's wicked.
Despicable.
Rotten.
Ugly.
Nasty.
Sinister and nefarious.
Cruel and vicious.
A meanie.
A scoundrel.
A crook.
And a thief. And just plain evil. So, let's begin, shall we?
Wait.
What?
I have a question. Why would anyone want to hear a story about such an awful man?
Oh, good question. But I wouldn't want to spoil the ending. Let's just say this is the story of how Dr. Evil learned to love.
What? Him?
Yes, him.
No.
Yes, so now we proudly present Dr. Evil in the Basket of Kittens. Surely loves it too. It's her favorite thing. Belch.
I can hardly sleep with that wretch ringing all through the night.
Hey, I'm standing right here.
It's okay, dear. He didn't mean it.
If you don't like hearing the belch, then move. Belch.
Okay, that's enough.
Yes, ma'am. Can you ring the bells any louder? Yes, of course, ma'am.
I thought you were a writer.
I'm also an entrepreneur, didn't you know? Since most of my neighbors dabble in the dark arts, I found a way to make an extra buck every now and then. Shelley's House of Relics and Curiosities. Though, I don't know what I've ever done to give her the impression that I have a horse skull.
Remember, at your booth at the Dark Arts Convention, you said, "Come over any time you need a blow skull."
Borax. I carry borax for potions and stuff.
Whatever.
Do you sell nuts and bolts?
Sure, come by sometime and I'll show you my wares.
Ahem.
Right, back to the story.
Not too far from Dr. Evil's lair, the Countess was making her own evil plans.
As a member of the Council of Evil, she's invited to the big unveiling of Dr. Evil's thermal ray.
That thing's an eyesore, by the way.
Yes, you've mentioned it before.
It is. It's what, 80 feet high?
Give or take.
And it blocks my perfect view of the volcano.
The tower is on his property. He can do what he likes.
Well, I'm sure he's breaking some sort of code. I don't care. I'm gonna have to write a strongly worded letter to the neighborhood association.
Do what you like, but you'll get nowhere with them. As I was saying, the Countess was preparing for the big event. Now, while Dr. Evil was hoping for the council to financially support his plans to build more thermal rays, the Countess had no interest in making a donation.
Your car has a ride, madam.
And Gothma, with their extremely dangerous and highly foolish plans set into motion, got into her Uber and made her way to the corner of Sorrow and the edge of darkness.
Meanwhile, back at Dr. Evil's lair, we learned that Shirley's distaste for the family pet was fully justified.
You see what I mean about this guy? He's a total nutcase. Who in the right mind keeps sharks in their house?
Dr. Mortimer Q. Evil.
Q? What's the Q for?
No one knows.
Well, I will definitely be mentioning this in my letter to the association. It's a hazard to the neighborhood.
How?
What if one of them gets out?
Oh, right. I doubt he even keeps them on a leash.
My point exactly. Now that Dr. Evil was dressed for the occasion, he was ready to make the final preparations for the unveiling.
But he was in for a big surprise just before his important guest arrived.
What do you think?
Taking pictures.
Nonsense, that's impossible.
It makes perfect sense to me.
See?
What time period do you think we live in?
It doesn't matter. It's fiction. Just enjoy.
You can't just make stuff up that no one has ever heard about. How they follow the story?
It's fine, though. Get it. Just watch.
Fine. Meanwhile, in our magical future fantasy world,
Done.
what? Are you serious? How can you sympathize with a guy who wants to murder a bunch of innocent little kittens?
No. I'm not saying you should put yourself in his shoes, but just that it's understandable that he'd want to get rid of the kittens with the council coming and all. He's not written to be a sympathetic character. We're supposed to be rooting for the kittens, not the lunatic.
Hey, I'm right here.
And you're not a likable character. You're greedy, power-hungry, and self-absorbed.
This is true.
I'm only saying that you can see why he is motivated to destroy the kittens.
I can't believe I live next door to you. I'm seriously gonna have to move.
Anyway, Dr. Evil has made his decision. If he wants to get rid of the kittens, he'd impress the council.
No. Yes.
So, as the important guests arrived, Dr. Evil's big event was underway, but he still had the problem of the kittens to deal with.
Will the council finally realize that Dr. Evil is a total fool? Will his presentation of the thermal ray be an utter and complete failure, much like the doctor himself? Will the Countess detonate her bomb and destroy him for good? Oh, I hope so.
Hey, no gaunt book, stick to the text.
But isn't that what we all want to know?
No, we all want to know how the kittens are going to make it out of this impossible situation alive and safe.
Oh yes, of course.
As I was saying, the guests were having a great time.
Don't flatter yourself,
Sure, since you're the evil genius,
madman.
you should be the one to do it.
Fine, you're right.
See, total nutcase.
A word of warning, unless you haven't been paying attention to the story, now's the time to look away. And so, with the kittens no longer concerned, Dr. Evil removed himself to his room to prepare for the big event. He practiced his speech one last time, straightened his suit, brushed his teeth, and combed his hair. Meanwhile, the guests finished their tour and awaited his arrival.
He brushed his teeth.
Yes, dental hygiene is extremely important. Plus, he wouldn't want to offend the council with rancid breath.
But don't you think that's a little out of character?
No, there's much more to Dr. Evil than you might think.
But he's disgusting. Purely and completely disgusting.
Not always. Yes, he often does disgusting things in order to gain power, wealth, or fame, but sometimes he does things that aren't disgusting, like brushing his teeth to impress the council for the same selfish reasons. If you really think about it, his desire to impress others shows that he's not that much different than you and I.
I'm sorry, you had me for a second there, but then you lost me at the just like you and me part. I'm nothing like him. And seriously, you just offended half the audience. He's a villain and a crook. How can you compare him to these lovely people?
Just an observation.
You need help. I'm sorry, I even asked. Now, where were we?
As I was saying, the guests were mingling as they eagerly awaited Dr. Evil's arrival. And so like that, Dr. Evil's thermal ray was destroyed, and all those years of planning and scheming ended in ruins. You could say that his dreams were crushed.
Oh, please. Get on with it.
So with the council gone, and thanks to the Kittens, the unveiling being a complete and utter disaster, Dr. Evil had finally reached his breaking point.
Mother, lock the door.
Okay.